Recording in progress.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Lynchburg. We are glad you are here. Whoever you are, whatever your beliefs, whatever your age, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. As we work together for justice, compassion, and peace, we also acknowledge with humility that our buildings sit on Monacan land. My name is Courtney Senna. I'm the Director of Lifespan Engagement at this congregation. If you are with us for the first time, we are glad you chose to be here this morning to participate in the service for this congregation we love. If you would like to receive our monthly newsletter and Friday email updates, please fill out the virtual visitor card found on our website, uulynchburg.org, under Sunday Services, or fill out the yellow card found in the back of the chair in front of you, and place it in the offering basket. You will note that we are moving to a minimalist order of service to save paper and stretch our office resources. We encourage you to read the Friday e-news to learn about events and read announcements. You'll also notice with your hymnals in your seats, there is a copy of our chalice lighting words and our children's recessional, which we won't need today, and extinguishing the chalice. Many thanks to Shannon Gage, Miles Dollahite, and Finnis Southworth, who had winning auction bids for a special piece of music during the service today. Please stay for our town hall meeting following the service and a short bio break. We have important financial concerns to discuss and encourage everyone to participate. Join us next Sunday when our service will focus on the mysteries of this season and the winter solstice. Now, today we have our wonderful children in the sanctuary with us all day for our multi-generational service. I'm going to ask that if you're sitting closer to the walls and there's empty aisle seats, that you move closer, because later in the service we're going to have a star walking up our aisle who needs some extra help to shine bright. And you'll notice on the aisle, the center aisle seats, there are stars. You can pull those off and attach them to the star to help her light shine a little brighter. Now I invite us to release our worries about the world and our own lives as we enter into this service by taking some slow, calming breaths.
And before we light our chalice, there are lots of us who are young at heart. When my brother and I were growing up, we would, over the holidays, put together these fantastical plays. We've got one of those this morning, and we need a comet and 3 angels. So if someone would like to be an angel just for a few minutes, or a comet, oh, you know what? You're a shepherd. Do you want to be a shepherd or an angel? Oh, sorry, you're a wise man, a wise person. You're the shepherd. Okay. Oh, Barb. Oh, yeah.
But I need the green wings. I want to be.
You want the green wings? Okay.
Why are you laughing so hard? I don't know if I can fit them though. Here, let me put them around my neck.
Don't choke yourself.
I think they're fit.
Oh, the halo.
Oh, good.
Okay. Are there a couple more angels? Oh, okay. Okay. Which color? These are bigger.
I'm not that big of an angel.
Okay.
I've been cussing all morning.
We do.
We've done angels.
We need a comet who's grumpy.
It's been hand drawn by Audrey, and so it's really amazing.
Good.
Come on, Pat.
It's grumpy at the beginning, and then you can turn it around and it's happy at the end.
We need him. Come on, Dave.
I'm not sure if they'd take it.
Is that okay?
Oh, Lord have mercy, Barb lost her halo. Okay, you want to be an angel? Okay.
It's off brand, but I can do it.
Do you want pink or purple?
Surprise me.
Okay. I don't know how you can attach your halo, but great, thanks. Now we're breathing into our service. We have high maintenance angels still in the audience. Okay, you can just sit where you are. Okay, let us Light the chalice of our faith as we together say, may the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of life. And our main character in our tableau hums a lot, and it seems appropriate that we sing This Little Light of Mine to encourage her flight across the heavens. So let us rise in body or spirit as we share together hymn number 118, This Little Light of Mine. Thank you, and be seated. Our reading this morning comes from Sherry Woodbury. Perhaps some here have outgrown mystery. Maybe you have doubts about Santa, or have forgotten the magic of a newborn child. One might easily lose touch with awe in the struggle to do it all or simply to survive. Hear now this invitation to open yourself to surprise today and be ready to greet unexpected delights. What star shall shine on you? What child remind you that all can be touched by glory? What gifts can you give? How will you join the holy story? It is the tradition of our community to share together love we for life, for the generations represented here, for our youngest members and our seniors who together help create a community and a family of faith. We hold up today all those who are celebrating the season that is holy in their hearts. May all people's faith be honored and respected. And we give thanks for this season, for being together. Amen. Blessed be. So stories, oh, sorry. I need to restart the day. Thank you, Emily. Thank you. Okay. Now then, since I forgot to welcome everybody earlier, let's all say good morning to all of our friends on Zoom. And Zoomies, say good morning to the roomies. That really is part of the joy of our community. Now then, it takes a community to help do a service a lot of days. So stories and myths offer us wisdom about truth, love, and light. So this morning, we're sharing a story about a little star's dream. It talks to us about how we might offer the light we hold in the world and the gifts we have to offer each other. So many thanks to our actors in our play who have been generous enough to share their skills in this performance. And it's being shared free from the pressure of rehearsals. So sometimes,
Improv theater.
Yeah, improv theater is right. So, excuse me, let me get okay. Narrator. Yay, come on.
Let me tell you a story of a long time ago. Things were different then. There were fewer houses and people. Almost none of the houses had a second story, so the people who lived there had a much better look at the sky. They also didn't have electric lights. At night, the stars seemed very bright against the dark sky. There were wise men living in those times whose business was watching the sky for signs and reporting to the people. Their job was a lot like TV news people, but there was a lot less happening and everything moves much more slowly. So looking at the stars was fine for the times. A big event was about to occur. The Holy One planned to send a message to the people on earth that she loved them and that they should love one another. As was the custom in those times, this message was to be announced by the stars. It was planned that a certain child was born named Jesus. This child would know as much about love as any human being had ever known. And this child would teach the other people about love. So the Holy One sent word throughout heaven that a special event was about to occur. She needed a special star to mark the birth of the child, born with the light of love in his eyes and the knowledge of love in his heart, a king among men. When the stars heard about this, they became excited. The bright stars began shining up their coats. Each one was sure of being picked. The red stars glowed and glowed, each one sure of being picked.
Up in the north of heaven, the North Star heard the call for a special star. He was a bright, beautiful sentry, all spit and polish, the perfect star to serve as a messenger. But I know my duty, he thought, and did a smart about face, standing firm at his sentry post, facing directly into the solar wind. A single tear ran down his face and froze there. Off in a corner of the heavens, A small, dim star named Nautilus sat with her friends, an asteroid, a burned out comet, and a white dwarf. Nautilus was her given name. Her friends called her Tali. Tali was the kind of star you couldn't see by looking at her, but looking hard just to her right or left. A faint light would appear, only to snuff out the minute you tried to look at it. Tali's friends were a churlish lot. That word best describes them, and it means they felt pretty much like someone who has been sent off to bed without supper for something their brother did. They never smiled. And the asteroid was a cold, lifeless piece of rock with a badly pockmarked face. The comet was burned out, broken down, and some said had a drinking problem. The white dwarf had once been quite a large bright star, in fact, one of the brightest, and was in a mean state of mind to be in such a reduced state. Tali's little corner of the heavens was just the right place for them because Tali was a small, dim star who didn't overshine them and was a good singer. When they first came to her place, they would listen to her song, but lately they had been singing in a 4-part harmony, a celestial barbershop quartet, singing quietly off in a corner, entertaining themselves, bothering no one. On Earth, the wise men noticed the change in the sky. The stars seemed brighter, more twinkling, glowing with a deeper red, and they said, "Something's up." They started paying closer attention to the sky, even going so far as to place Tali on their charts. They had never done this before.
When Tali and her friends heard the news of the big event, the child born with the light of love in his eyes, Tali didn't shine or twinkle or glow. She stopped singing for a minute and then turned to her friends.
Tali, you know, if God was going to let the light of love shine in that child's eyes, she'll see some light. If I took off my coat and gave it a good squeeze, we could get enough light to do the job.
White dwarf, "You lose all your light," he cried. He knew how that felt. Tali,
What need I have for light? We can sing in the dark as well.
the asteroid said, "That's true." The comet, who had been humming quietly through the exchange, said, "I know how to fly through the heavens." The asteroid said, "You could store the light in the large crater on my back. I promise I shan't spill a drop." The white dwarf, who was beginning to get excited, said, "I can lead the way and probably tip our friend here to spill the light at the right time." Tali took off her coat, squeezed the light into the asteroid's back, and it got very dark. On Earth, one of the wise men who knew not to look at Tali and suddenly couldn't see by her not looking at her, turned to the other 2 wise men and said, "It's the beginning." The 4 friends set out for Bethlehem, which was the town the Holy One had picked for the birth of Jesus. The white dwarf was leading the way. The comet huffed and puffed with exertion. He was very much out of shape. The asteroid, true to his nature, was silent and still, not moving a single muscle. And Tali, dark now, almost blind, falling behind, singing to herself.
When the Holy One saw the 4 strange, dark friends laboring across the sky toward Bethlehem with their gift of light, she was pleased. As Tali and her friends marched on, a wonderful thing began to happen. As Tali passed the other stars, a little light from each one began to cling to her back. A little light from each one began to cling to her dark side, and soon she began to glow. She's really starting to glow now. The wise people by this time had figured out the big event was about to occur. When they saw Tali beginning to glow brighter and brighter and saw the direction she was headed, they said, "We'd better get going. An important birth is due. A king will be born over all the earth." So they packed their clothes, took presents, and headed west. By the time the friends reached Bethlehem, passing most of the stars on their way, Tali had become the brightest star anyone had ever seen. You didn't need to be a wise person to know a big event was happening. Even the shepherds in the hills who had no education, couldn't read, and spent most of their time talking to sheep, knew something was up. In fact, Tali was so bright, it was almost as light as day in the middle of night, and the shepherds were frightened. The Holy One didn't mean to scare people, so she sent some angels to sing hymns and calm the shepherds down. It worked, and all the people crept down to the stable where Tali was glowing brightly. The wise people had already arrived. As the child was born, the comet, who was old and wise, said, "Now!" And the white dwarf shoved the asteroid with all his might. Slowly, ever so slowly, the asteroid turned on his side, and the beautiful light streamed down around the baby Jesus. At that moment, Jesus knew more about love than anyone ever had before, and he was only a few minutes old. The comet cried, "Well done!" The white dwarf said, "Thank you." The asteroid sighed, "Isn't he beautiful?" forgetting all about his face. As the four friends looked on, they could see love in the faces and eyes of all the people, the wise people, even in the animals as they gazed on the baby Jesus. Mary's eyes held the most love, as it is with all new mothers. The night was magic. Love light was in everybody's eyes. The angels sang, Tali shone brightly. All in all, it was the best night ever. Tali says, "This is Christmas. We can go home now." So the four friends made their way back to their home Tali giving up a little light to each star on the way. But when she got home, she wasn't dark. She still had enough light that the friends could see each other. They were all smiling. And if you were out on a hill late at night when the lights of the city have been turned low and the stars shine with the brightness of days long ago, if you go out there and look into the dark part of the sky and look hard, you can see Tali. But don't look at her because she'll go away. But if you look with your heart, you can see her. And if you're very, very still, you can hear her sing. Thank you. The end. Special hand for Huckleberry. Thank you. That was fun. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Good.
And did you know fireworks are the only widest things and stars and Disney years.
Yeah. So we give in so many ways within our faith community. We've had an example of ways that our members and friends give to one another. And each week we take an offering of our gifts for the work of our congregation, both within these walls and in the larger community. So we've learned a little bit with Tali and her friends that each of us has gifts to offer and how important it is to be with a group of friends and a community to make our dreams a reality. We are grateful this morning to welcome 4 new members into our congregation. So this morning, we're honored to welcome into our Unitarian Universalist congregation members and their children who have found this to be a place to grow, to share their gifts, and to build a meaningful life within this community. It is a joy for us that you have chosen to become members of the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Lynchburg with full rights and responsibilities. When we choose to become members of a faith community, we commit ourselves to the welfare of our liberal faith and of this congregation. Though we come from different backgrounds and different perspectives, we believe that membership in this congregation calls us to celebrate the changes and chances that have drawn us together. We will regard each person as a spiritual friend and potential teacher. The relationships we form in this congregation are based on needs of the soul, needs that render each of us as vulnerable and therefore reliant on each other's grace, goodness, and generosity of spirit. As members of this congregation, we pledge to be guardians of each other's spirits and to believe in each one's inherent dignity and worth. It's with pleasure that I introduce our new members, and I invite you to come forward. And I did have to sign the membership book, and I did have a pen up here, but it has disappeared. Okay, thank you. So Andreas Anderson, you get to come up first because your name starts with an A. Teresa Odell, Miley Shea Mountain, and her daughters Malia and Kaimana are not here today, and Kelly Smith.
I have a name next to the Z.
You do? Good. So I invite Betty to come up to say a few words.
Becoming a member of this fellowship is an important step, but is only a first step. I invite you to grow in your faith. More importantly, I charge you to find and share your spatial gifts with us. Ours is a shared ministry, and each of you brings vision, vitality, and renewal to our community. We need you. We need your ideas, your care, and your wisdom. Your energy and your enthusiasm will be a source of joy and new life for us all. On behalf of this community, it is my pleasure to welcome you into our midst. So I will be asking you a question in a moment here. I'll give you a chance to sign the book before I ask. So, will you walk together with us, sharing the joys and the responsibilities of membership? If so, will you please respond by saying, I will?
Today, we offer you gifts, symbols of your new relationship with our congregation. A chalice pendant made for our members at Goose Creek Studio, resources to enhance your understanding of our faith, and a hug from Terry, reminding you of the support and care of this community. May these gifts remind you of the many ways this congregation seeks to offer you support, challenge, and care in the years to come. Welcome.
Members of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Lynchburg, will you welcome these new members into our congregation? Will you reach out to them in friendship, including them in activities and fellowship? Will you be open to their unique gifts and perspectives? Will you extend your friendship to each of them, remembering that each of us was once a new member? If you would do so, then I invite you to join with me in welcoming them. The words are in your bulletin. We welcome you. We join our gifts, talents, energy, and commitment with yours. Today, let us celebrate our faith, which honors the past, lives with passion in the moment, and envisions the future. You are part of us, and you are part of you. We are one community. Welcome. And you may be seated. Let us welcome them. In this time of sacred seasons, let us be grateful for those around us who see us in light and love. May we use that light and love to help shine a light in places that are in need of more hope, more justice, more joy, and more love. We are grateful for all those who support us as we journey in this life. And I know that last week we sang hymn 226, but it's the holidays, and it's one of my favorites, so we get to sing it again this week. Let us rise in body or spirit. We extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And before our benediction, let's say farewell to our friends on Zoom and our friends in the sanctuary. It's been wonderful being together today. Our benediction, excuse me, our benediction comes from Gregory Jones. May we be awed by the great miracles of light and life, and faithfully nurture the mystery and magic of wonder. May it be so. Blessed be. Thank you, Emily and Finnis and Miles and Shannon for making such lovely selections. So we're going to take a short bio break, and we'll be back in